Dennis Wrigley Ministries, a better way, unity, renewal and healing.
One day, I was approached by a priest who asked if I could go with him to a house where there was real trouble. It transpired that mother, father, and 3 children had experienced all kinds of strange things going on in the house, and nobody had believed them. Lights going on and off, the radio being put on and off, doors being locked and unlocked, pots of paint being upturned and upset on the floor. All kinds of things that would make a good scenario for a television program, except that it wasn't fiction, it was true. The family were so afraid they were sleeping together, huddled in their lounge instead of going to their bedrooms. Terrible things had happened. They'd been punched, they'd been kicked, and so on. And so I went to see them with the priest. And I sensed that God was asking us to do something which the world would say was quite crazy. We got to the gate of the house, and I said, I think we must kneel down and we must place our hands on the stone and pray for God's blessing on everyone who's ever been into this house and come out of the house. And likewise, we did the same at the door. We blessed the door. And then we went into the house, and it was like going into a refrigerator. There was something very strange, very odd. And I had a chat with the family. I said, tell me what it's all about. What's happening? And they told me the most amazing story, which was obviously true because it was told so graphically and confirmed by each member of the family. And clearly they were full of fear and anxiety. I said, can we say a very simple prayer? Can we hold hands? And what I did was to ask for God's Spirit to just come upon that home and upon us, priest, myself, and the family. In a moment, one of the boys collapsed on the floor, and his mother, not unnaturally, was concerned for his welfare. I said, no, he's all right. And he lay on the ground, on the floor there for some minutes, and then got up. And he said, Mum, Dad, I've been with God. And they couldn't understand this, and she turned to me and said, that means he's died and come to life. I said, no, he's been with God. Don't ask me to explain it. Maybe he will. And so he did. He said, I was in a place where there's a lovely blue sky, and this beautiful white dove came down and rested in front of me. That little boy didn't know what he was describing, but the priest most certainly did, and I did. And what had happened is that we'd asked for the peace of God descend on that home. And it was as though we'd put the heating up, because what had been like a fridge was now warm and comfortable. And I said, all that we're going to do is we're going to ask God to remove your fear, and we're going to go into every room of this house and claim it for him. What we did was very simple and very straightforward. And immediately things changed. The noises they heard stopped. The punches they had received stopped. I had myself experienced being punched. And it's a story which is very difficult to spell out fully. So many aspects of it. But I'm telling you this because it's important that at a time when so many people are involved in occult activity, we know what to do. And what we're asked to do is to exert the authority of Jesus. Jesus who said, if you want to shift that mountain, move it in my name. Jesus who gives authority to his followers now as he did then. Does that mean to say we're puffed up with pride because we got power? No. It means to say simply that we're servants of the Lord, and we love people like this family of 5, and we want their troubles to come to an end. They did come to an end. Suddenly, permanently. And there was great joy. But let me tell you 2 aspects which I think may interest you. They had problems with a dog, a Doberman. I'm not very well versed in the behavior of dogs, and I'd been playing around with this dog wildly in the dining room, and it was quite energetic, to say the least. But we had an urgent message from the family that whenever they mentioned prayer or Jesus or God, this dog went wild and could spring up and even touch the ceiling with its nose. And I was a bit concerned. I spoke to a friend of mine who was a Catholic sister, Sister Elizabeth, and she said, "Dennis, you prayed with the family?" "Yes." I said, "Yes." "We prayed for the house?" "Yes." "But you didn't pray for the dog." And I jokingly said, "Well, I was brought up as a Methodist. We didn't pray for animals or dogs." Then I remembered St. Francis, and she chided me and said, "Oh, no, you must make sure the dog is blessed." Well, I couldn't go back to the house, so I said to the father, "Just say to the dog, in the name of Jesus, be quiet." And he did just that. And the dog was totally submissive then and in coming days. The amusing thing is he was telling this to his pals in the local pub, the darts team of which he was captain. And each day they were getting news about what was happening in their household, and they were quite amazed. But I want you to know that there are aspects of this story which will remain with me always. For some reason, we got the daughter of the house to come and stay with my wife and myself just for a night to give her a little bit of rest. And at 1 o'clock in the morning, both my wife and I were woken up, and we prayed. We felt we had to pray for the family. And the daughter had been woken as well. But next morning, we had the most amazing story. The mother said, "Do you know, I was woken up at 1 o'clock last night, and I saw Jesus." Now, was that a dream? Was it her imagination? It's not for me to say. As far as she's concerned, she saw Jesus. And that remained with her forever. But more to the point, the whole family found its faith. Now, we can spend hours discussing what happened in that house. What matters to me is not that it was haunted or there were ghosts. I don't happen to believe in ghosts. What happened was somewhere there was poison in that place which needed to be removed. And it was removed. What was wrong was put right. That is the healing ministry. That is deliverance ministry. We say in the Lord's Prayer, "Deliver us from evil." Why are you afraid? Why are we afraid to do this? Because often we are. I can honestly say to you, deliverance ministry is the happiest ministry of all. You're seeing people set free. It's as if God's giving you a key to put in your hand, and you're going along that prison corridor, and you're unlocking the prisoner from his cell, and he comes out, and he enters into the freshness of a spring day. I do not believe all these things need clever intellectual explanation. I do believe that God does it for us. He explains. He reveals what he wants us to see. All I can say is that family was totally, completely healed. And I thank God for it. God bless you.
Dennis Wrigley Ministries, a better way, unity, renewal and healing. Thank you for watching.